The untold stories of Sanibel Island after the ferry is made possible in part by...
We'll hear about controversies surrounding the building of a causeway, the birth of Sanibel as a city, the people that helped preserve its nature and history, and the many organizations and groups that make Sanibel so magical. Life on Sanibel in the 1950s was a bit primitive. Roads were rough and rugged. Homes weren't air-conditioned. The island even set a world record for the number of mosquitoes captured in one evening.
The ferry was the only way to come back and forth to the island, and they were small ferries. There were 4 of them at the end of the run. And of course it only ran during the daytime.
I remember the first time I came over on that ferry, it was magical. And we just went, the pace was so slow. And it was an invitation to this beautiful island that looked totally deserted.
The ferry was the joy of every island kid. If you got to go to Fort Myers, that in itself was a special day. And riding on the ferry was fun because you could watch the dolphin and, you know, just have a free time running around the boat.
For some, the ferry wasn't sufficient. They wanted to connect Sanibel and the mainland for automobile access.
Hugo Lindgren, who owned a considerable acreage on the east end of the island, wanted to sell lots. And he felt that there was no way to get enough people over here to buy his properties without an actual road access.
Certainly controversial. Most of us didn't want it. Even though we were in business, we didn't want it. We were pleased with the way we were living.
I opposed it. I was with the group that opposed it. We fought it to the Supreme Court. We lost. It's there.
In 1963, the Sanibel Causeway was completed at a cost of just under $3 million. For the first time, Sanibel residents and visitors had a land route on and off the beloved island.
Once they did complete the span closest to the island, we would ride our bikes out and we would go to the first Causeway Island, and they were absolutely littered with fossils. It was amazing to see these crystal shells.
As soon as the causeway opened, everything, you know, increased dramatically each year. There were probably 300, 400 people on the island when the causeway was built. By 1970, there were close to 1,000, and then it just increased tremendously.
Before and after the causeway, the preservation of the island's native plants, beaches, and wildlife has been at the heart of Sanibel's culture.